Hey guys, so I promised you a video where I do my hair. Just a disclosure, I don't really know what I'm doing. I kind of play it by ear every day. So, bear with me. But anyways, first things first, what I do is I take off my glasses and I put on my spare glasses and then I take my ring off because a lot of product builds up. You probably want to take your ring off and switch your glasses because stuff gets in it. But anyways, here we go. Oh yeah, I have jewelry, for a little razzle dazzle. Okay, so let's get the products that we're gonna use today. So I'm gonna divide my hair in two sections, one on top, one on bottom. So the top is what I wrap with my headband, and the bottom is what I wrap with my headband, and the top I let out. So for the bottom, I'm going to use this conditioner, and I'm also gonna use Sulfur 8, the medicated formula. That's for the bottom section, and for the top section, I'm gonna use Aunt Jackie's Don't Shrink Elongating Curling Gel, and I'm also gonna use Aunt Jackie's Curl Lala, and I'm going to use Frizz Control just at the top, and I also want to use this hemp scalp care, and possibly some mousse and hair glosser. I have a couple extra bottles of these so I can be more generous with the amount, so don't worry. And then the tools I'm gonna use. I have bobby pins and hair ties in here that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use I think it's a detangling brush. That's for the bottom, and then this, I think it's like boars. I don't know, but it's a really good comb. Like no matter how greasy my hands get, I can still grip it. So it has good anti-grip, which is good because I put product in my hair and I don't have to constantly wipe it off or put a towel around my hands. So make sure you invest in good combs and good brushes. Yeah, so those are the tools and products I'm using today. So this is my hair. I didn't wrap it last night, but guys, the shrinkage is real. Okay, so I'm gonna take that off, and yeah, I'm gonna put this part up with a hair tie. So that part goes up, and then the bottom I have to unravel. I have some bobby pins in there too. Yeah, so I'm gonna unravel those. I just had twisties in it just so it maintains moisture a little better. I'd show you the back, but I don't know how wild it looks. I have a lot of new growth back there. So I'm gonna unravel these, and I'm gonna put a hair tie on it, and then I'll show you what I do from there. Okay, so took out my braids. It took longer than I thought. Okay, so this is the back. I have it in two sections. The part's probably not completely straight, but that's okay. And I have a little bit of dander in the back, just a little bit, but I like to go a little bit longer before I wash my hair, and that part's gonna be tied anyways. It's not like an infestation. And also I took off my necklace because I don't want it to get caught in one of the tools. All right then. Now I'm gonna use my detangling brush, and it should slide right through. You see, so and I think what was I gonna say? I think your texture, like if you have like 4 great hair, actually, you know what though? I don't believe in curl patterns, because it reminds me of like, you know how people have like one boob is bigger than the other. I think that applies to hair. So I don't like using the curl pattern rhetoric. So now that that's brushed out, I'm gonna take my sulfur 8 and I'm just gonna so I'll put some right here. So I take a section and then I take a good amount and then I put it on my scalp, and I do that, and I'm gonna do that for the whole back. I'm probably gonna do it in the front too. No, I have another product for the front. So yeah, you just take little sections. I like to go up and down. Just go where your hair takes you. So always, if you have hair like me, I keep you gotta actually keep your scalp really greased and moisturized, because it's like, and you know, the results is really instant. Because I remember when I you know, I have a hairstyle and I don't grease my scalp, and then at the end I decide to grease my scalp, it actually does look different, like healthier and stuff. So don't forget to keep your scalp moisturized. I am very tedious, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this side up right here, put that back, and then I'm gonna do the same on this side. I'm going to brush it out and then grease this side too. But yeah, and then you can see that I have shrinkage, but don't forget to that I think next wash day, I have to trim my hair. And yeah, I trim my own hair. I like doing it, and sometimes I do a better job. I've had people compliment my haircut, so it looks good, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna grease this side. Oh, on this side, the other side I went up and down, but this side I'm gonna, like what I said, with go where your hair takes you. I do it horizontally, right here, and then I go, you know, you just gotta follow where your hair goes. The more you do your hair, you get to know where your hair falls and the lines and stuff like that. So yeah, just, you gotta get in there. Don't be also don't go don't go too long without washing your hair too. I like to go a certain amount of time, like around 3-4 weeks. That way I have a lot of new growth and I'm not drying out my hair. But also, but if your hair stinks, you gotta wash that. But the cleaner your hair is, like my hair, I used to have so much more dander. So you gotta take care of that. And once again, I'll show you the products I used for wash day. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take sections of it, sections of the section, and I'm gonna tie that, because I'm gonna don't worry, I got a whole pack of them. So take those into sections because I'm gonna twist it. and this makes it a lot easier to twist. And these things, I like to use, so we're gonna twist it. I like to use let me show you. I like to use these hair ties. They're not, they're really soft on the hair, like really soft, and it doesn't tangle as much, it doesn't hurt as much, it doesn't pull out nearly as much hair as those other products. So with hair, use something really soft. Okay, now we're gonna twist it. For long term, don't forget you gotta I put in a good amount. I assume that you use like a generous amount, because the bottle is so big. And then, so I'm gonna take a smaller comb, and then I'm gonna brush that, because this is the back. So the key is to just keep it healthy. And then, you see, and then I like to, in the back, for more long term, I like to use the 2-strand twist. Got that. Okay, so the 2-strand twist. This is what it should look like. Make sure you get all the way to the bottom so it stays, and you don't have to use a bobby pin for that part. I use a bobby pin when I'm all finished to kind of hold it down so it doesn't go up. The reason I don't believe in curl patterns, I think that, you know, like I do believe that like thicker hair has, or your skin complexion has something, is a contributor to thicker hair. But look at that new growth. But I don't like curl patterns. I don't like the connotations like, oh, I have a 4, I have a 3A. I think that that's really digressive. Like, you don't, like, that's like saying like, oh, my skin's like this, you know. You don't wanna, what's the word? You wanna fight the system. You don't wanna use, you don't wanna buy into that terminology, and because your hair looks a certain way that you're prettier or you're more fair. I don't like that. You know, I think it's just, what's that, like, it's kind of like colorism to me. Like, those systems were established so that we become crabs in a barrel. You know, we just like, oh, you have this skin color, you have this hair, so you're not considered pretty. And you know, I don't like all that. I think it's very what's the word? It's kind of backwards to me, because I think that everybody, when your hair is healthy, we got beautiful hair. And if we're taught at a young age that our hair is not pretty, we're gonna grow up thinking that, and that's where the damage comes, the self-hate, a lot of self-hate. I remember I had a lot of self-hate about my hair when I was younger, just because I have dark skin. Okay, so these are the twisties on this side. You know, since we're on the subject of colorism and stuff like that, you know, a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, they see like dark-skinned women and they say really mean stuff, and then wonder why we don't like to date or something like that. Because when people are constantly reminding you that you don't look good and stuff like that just because of your skin, I think that I think honestly, and you can ask a lot of us, I think colorism is much more of a gaslight than racism. I think racism is a whole lot more dangerous. But colorism, damn, like it's a major gaslight. That's like I have dark skin, but somebody 2 shades lighter than me is gonna, you know, the pot calling the kettle. And it doesn't matter how light you are, how dark you are, like it messes with you because it's like, what? You know? And I'm gonna say it, it's kind of dumb to me, because it doesn't matter how pretty you are, especially if you're pretty, they're gonna come after you. They're gonna make sure that you know that, you know, you're dark skin and you shouldn't be confident. You shouldn't be wearing certain stuff. Like a lot people think that that stuff is old. No, it still goes on today. You know, like especially it still goes on today. Like these days it's really good because we have people that advocate. But if you look at those comments sometimes from us people, if you look at those comments, it is really messed up. The things they say just to hurt your feelings, no matter what you have, who you hang out with, how much money you have, how pretty you are, how influential you are. They will always find something to mock you on. They will make fun of you. They will make things up. And it's traumatizing. Like when I was younger, I was made fun of by a group of kids for having dark skin so bad. And that traumatized me. And you know, that type of trauma you can't undo. You know, it's like you think about it and your brain says danger, 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 you know. And self-hate comes from trauma. Like we all have self-hate. We all have our BS. And when you look at a dark-skinned woman and call her on her self-hate, that's wrong. Just, you know, because we all have it. And if you're calling another kettle on their skin tone, well, that's just the same, you know. It's dumb. You gotta let people live. Just because you're jealous of someone doesn't mean you have to just say the most degrading things. Like I said, it's not just, you know, it's around the globe. Every culture that there's dark-skinned people there, we're always ostracized, no matter how pretty we are or anything like that. So remember that. I know in the fashion industry, it's you know, people see dark-skinned women in the fashion industry, but it's just as hard. You're always gonna have people checking your hair when you go out in public. If you look a little good, they're gonna look a little longer. You know what I mean? They're gonna look for that flaw. Like that's what people do. And at some point it's kind of like they want to act like you're invisible, but we all know that when we walk in a room, at some point everyone's gonna look at us and they're gonna look a little long, and they're gonna make sure you don't know that, because dark skin is very beautiful. It's eye-catching. And a lot of people have that mentality that, what is it? It's not good. It's, what is it? It's mental mental captivity. It's mental captivity. And when you do that, everybody digresses. You don't want to be ignorant, is what I'm saying. Because people hold on to that, you know, and it's all a lie. It is all a lie. Remember that. So I don't know if I showed you already, but this is the 2-strand, and then I'm just gonna bobby pin them like that. So that's me marinating. Okay, so this is the back. I bobby pinned it. It's a little rough, because I don't want it too tight back there because of new growth. And when you have bobby pins in your hair, it does breakage. So I make it loose right there. So I put this thing on just to cover that part. But on another note, guys, ladies, and like I'm talking about ladies because I'm a lady. Like we really have to check ourselves. And this is on a different note. Like we really have to check ourselves on jealousy. Like I'm not over here saying, oh, people are so jealous of me. No, I'm saying in general, you know, like especially like with dudes and stuff like that. I genuinely believe that girls are a lot more thirstier than guys. I do. And that's just like, why not though? Because guys have money. And I know that with women, we tend to make most of our money when we're younger. Maybe somebody has kids or there's always a reason. But you guys gotta, we as women, we have to change. We have to stop doing that stuff to each other. You know, like, especially when you have women that go online and say like this is a woman's place and all this. Guys, that is it. You know what, I'm gonna say it like, if some to say that, it has to be some type of kink, like some type of sexual thing, because like the reality, ladies, we need women doctors. We need women doctors because men doctors, they take advantage and they don't care. I have been taken advantage of by doctors. They don't care. I've told male doctors, hey, I haven't had my period in this long. They don't care. I had to go to a woman psychiatrist, that's not even a primary care doctor, that referred me to a gynecologist. Okay, we need women doctors. We need women in legislature. We need women to do this stuff. Don't be that ignorant, okay? One of the most important thing for a woman is representation, okay? Childbearing, all that stuff, yeah, we know it's good. But what I'm saying is we need women in power to advocate for us. Because if you think that a certain demographic, if you think men are going to advocate for us, then you really are delusional. Men can stand up for us, but only a woman knows a woman's body. And that's besides all the controversy. And I'm sure you guys are going to love to run with that. But the truth is, we need women in the workplace. We need women in power. We need women to advocate for us. Sorry about that. But that's just how I feel. Social media is a hell of a place, So make sure that you are educated, because I know a lot of women that talk like that, they don't realize that the type of man that it attracts when a woman doesn't have a personality, when she's just agreeable, when she's not intellectual, that doesn't captivate a man. Usually if you're kind of in your own world like that, it's boring. It bores people, and a lot of women that come from that mindset, if you talk to them in 20 years, a woman could be married for 25 years, but the second that man gets bored with them, they kick them to the curb. These women don't have bank accounts. They don't have work history. a lot of deal with a lot of abuse. And if we don't have women to advocate for us, you know, because I know that living in California, the laws are a lot different than Georgia as far as domestic violence. And you can't, I don't, you have to be very conscious of that type of stuff, because a lot of women, they get into all that and they forget to, you know, get an education. They're supporting a man's dreams, and it happens way too much that that man, he wants something else. He craves something else. He has a mistress. He leaves you with nothing. Maybe he completely, you know, maybe he whoops on you. You have to protect yourself. And when you protect yourself, I mean, you have to financially protect yourself. You have to have something in your name. You can't just be a man's identity, because the world works is that a man will do what they want. And the worst part is that no matter what that man does, they will take his side. They will always take his side. Remember that. If a man cheats, they say, oh, you know, a woman cheats, oh my God, the whole world is against them. You know, you have to realize that what you're up against. And that's the case, especially with like divorce and stuff. And if you're living in his identity, all your friends, your lifestyle, everything completely gone. You don't want that for yourself. Then, like, what makes me credible to talk about a man's mentality? You know, when you have been locked up with men, you learn a lot about their movements, their mentality, all that. You know, things that most women don't, just because when you're in those places, it's like, let me tell you, we're all sitting there in our funk in the same clothes for 7, 9, 10 days. You know, you get a lot more, what's that word? You get a lot more exposure to the opposite sex than you want to be in. You remember this stuff, because don't forget, in places like that, for a woman, you have to know how not to get hit. All right? I don't know, like, you in a mental hospital, they do not care. You can just be sitting there and the man can just walk up and punch you in the face. You have to be witty. You have to captivate, because you know, it's not even anything you do. It's what they want to do, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that men are bad. Because women, we have our BS, but I'm just letting you know what the mentality is. I love men. I know a lot about men. And, you know, I really do. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you can't change the facts. Like, you want to, you can have a mindset, but sometimes you can't change the truth. You can't alter the truth. Sometimes things are just factual. Remember that. Don't always think that you're gonna find Prince Charming. And you know, one thing about that, Prince Charming didn't even remember what Cinderella looked like in the face. You know, there's a reason they don't show what happens after. You know, you don't want your story to end there, I think. But then again, you know, child rearing is very important. I respect a woman that has children. I genuinely do. What I don't like is when we say things that are hurtful towards all of us, you know, because the world's not sweet. You know, people aren't just automatically gonna do right by you. You have to have leverage, especially with a man. Don't, if you're not educated and you don't have anything in your name, don't sign a prenup where you get nothing. You know, you have to advocate for yourself. And if you're in Delulu land talking about, oh, women, this is our place and we should be nice to look at, a lot of you aren't going to be that nice to look at past 30, a lot of us. And you have to realize that we are not young and beautiful forever. We age, we all age. And if your goal is to be fit for a man's gaze, then don't expect to be in that relationship for the rest of your life. You know, you have to find a companion. You have to find a best friend. You can't just be pretty and have perky boobs. You know, you have to, you know, especially like you come into power in your 30s. Because I know that when I was younger, I just wanted to be skinny. And now in my mature body, I want to be fit. I want to be strong. I want to be empowered. And if you're at home every day by yourself, just fantasizing about your husband, you're going to miss out on a lot of things that we should have as women. We should have, your self-esteem's gonna go down. You're not gonna be as social, and being social is very important, especially when you're trying to get things. Like maybe you're trying to get a job. Because a lot of the times, if you even get that interview, people judge you kind of just on your personality. If you get that far, people will say, do I like this person? And if you're not intellectual and kind of basic, they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna say, we do not want to hire this woman because she hasn't worked in so long. And it's rough out here, ladies. It is very rough. But anyways, I put a cap on my hair. I'm gonna let it marinate. I'll probably take it down tomorrow or something. Because you see all that moisturizer I had to put. Like I said, today is marinating. I'll make another video of what it looks like. But thank you for listening to me. I have a lot to say, don't I? But remember that, ladies, we have to empower each other. And sometimes we say things that are bold but true. So remember that when we talk to each other, we have to be kind and compassionate. We as women, we pride ourselves on that, but we ostracize each other. We do psychological things. So just treat people right. Have a mentality where you don't exploit anyone, and your life will get a whole lot better. Your quality of life will be so much better when you stop talking about people behind their back. You know, because let me tell you, if you're talking about somebody behind their back, they will find out. They will. Because the only people that humor that type of stuff are messy people who gossip. So don't talk bad about people and they won't find out. And you won't find yourself with nothing. You'll wake up one day, realize you don't have any friends. And it's not always your fault. It's really not. A lot of the time, the realest people are treated so terribly. But remember that nobody is automatically kind. You have to teach children empathy, but manipulation comes natural, you know. So remember that being a kind person is very hard. It's not automatic. You have to think. You have to be thoughtful. Anyways, thanks guys. I will talk to you when I get back, or I'll talk to you at some time. Thank you.